Welcome back. We're here in combination mode, or the short form is Combi mode. This is a mode in Korg Workstations where you can combine different programs. In the M3, M50, Oasys, Kronos, or Triton, and the Triton I don't know, but in the other fourth, it's possible to set up 16 programs at one time. This is really amazing. But for now it's way too much. We just need two programs at one time, the two programs we made. So we set them up here. The first one I saved in the custom sounds category in the user G bank, and it's called Snarling Pig main. The second sound is again in the custom sounds category user G, and it's called Snarling Pig contour. Okay, these are the two sounds. So now we want to hear the two sounds at the same time. For that we go to the timbre parameter and set the MIDI channel for timbre 1 and 2. These are the two sounds, the two programs, to 1G. That means we press a key on the keyboard of the M3 and hear the sound. Now we hear both sounds at the same time. If we hit a key on the M3, and now it sounds like that. And as you hear, no snarling at all. This is what we have to do now, and I say it will snarl. It will snarl like we heard in the beginning of the tutorial. For that we use effects. First of all, we start with the insert effects, the eye effects. The first thing we use to make the sound wider and bigger is a flanger. You'll find a flanger here in the, here, there we have it, the stereo flanger. The stereo flanger is now set up as IFX1. Click on the checkbox to activate it, and then here at the bus select of the timbres you choose for the first sound, for the first program, the IFX1. That means the sound goes from the first timbre, from the first program, right through the IFX1, through the stereo flanger. That sounds like this. It sounds wider, it sounds bigger. I'll turn it off and on and you hear the difference. Yeah, you hear this wobbling sound. It's it gets a bit snarly. Okay, now we have to set up the stereo flanger, and this is the next part. Okay, to set up the stereo flanger, we are on the IFX tab and go to IFX1. What we do here is to modify the delay time a bit. It's set to 0.0 from scratch, and we'll change it to around 1 millisecond. Okay, you hear what happens. But we just take a low value around 1. It's okay. The depth is set a little bit lower than is set now, so it won't sound too fat at all. So around 40, 41, around that, and the feedback sounds like that if we change it. Pretty weird. We set it to around let's say minus 60, minus 70, so around that. This is a cool sounding. Okay, the alpha O is the waveform is set to triangle. This is okay. We'll play a bit with the shape, but that hasn't that much effect. I'll set it to minus 36, and yeah, the wet dry value can be left at minus 50. That's okay. Okay, this is the complete setup for the stereo flanger. The second effect, we go back to the setups page, is the effect which makes the pig snarl. Okay, the effect is called talking modulator. The talking modulator you find at position 015, loaded as IFX number 2 and activated. Now we want that the exit of IFX1 is connected with the input of the talking modulator, which sits in IFX2. This is easily done on the IFX setup page. You can choose a chain to another effect from IFX1. You can choose IFX2 to IFX5. We want to have IFX2 because this is the talking modulator, and we'll simply click on chain. And now you see above here, the chain has been changed. The chain has been changed. Oh, that sounds funny. Yeah, now the exit of the stereo flanger is set up as the input of the talking modulator. Okay, and the next step is we'll set up the talking modulator. Okay, now we set up the talking modulator. We insert it here as IFX2. Go to the IFX2 page. First of all, set the sweep mode to LFO, because we want to have the talking modulator controlled by the LFO here. This is an oscillator with a low frequency oscillator LFO, yeah, which controls the morphing of the voice, or the speed of the morphing of the voice. Yeah, for that, set this source as to off. We don't need it. Yeah. Then which voices do we need? The talking modulator emulates vocals, human vocals, and this is what we want to do here. As we remember how the snarling pig sound by Rudess sounds itself, it's something like oh, wow. Okay, sounds a bit like fun. Sounds funny. Not a bit like fun, it's funny. Yeah, you hear an O, you hear an U, and ow, you hear an A. Okay, and these are the vocals we set up here. We have an U, we have an A from stock settings, and the top is set to O. This is the missing vocal, and now it sounds like this. Okay, the talking modulator morphs from O to A to U to A, and so on. Yeah, then we'll play a bit with the form and shift thing. Yeah, okay, you hear what it makes, and set it to around minus 55, minus 60. Yeah, the resonance influences. Okay, this set it up to around 60, 65. That. Okay, let the low frequency oscillators frequency like it is in the stock settings, and the wet dry value, which controls how much of the effect is actually heard at the end, is set to wet. That means you only hear the output of the talking modulator. We want to hear even original sound from the stereo flanger mixed up with the talking modulator, so we set this value a little bit down, around 30, I guess, might be a good idea, and that sounds like this. Yeah, again, and now you hear it snarl. Okay. Okay, this is it for the talking modulator. Now there comes the effect where I said it is not absolutely necessary, but if you want to have the pig snarl real, you'll need it, or you should set it up. For that, go to the routing page and set as IFX3 another talking modulator. Yep, just set up 2 of them. Activate IFX3 and now set the output of timbre 2, the second sound we made, to IFX3. You see the line here. That means that the output, or that the sound of timbre 2, our second program, goes through the second talking modulator. And how this talking modulator is set up, I will show you in the next part.